Good morning, Fruitful Church, guests, family, and friends. Like Pastor Trey said, I am Skylar Hamlin, an actual new member of this family, and I have something very important to share with you today. My friend Amir, a member of Celebration Church, has written a message I felt that was worth sharing. I will also be speaking on behalf of myself and what exactly it meant to me. His assignment on today was to give the second I am, which is John 8 and 12, and it reads, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of the life. His title is Out of the Dark, and I quote, Let's be real for a second. Everybody in here present today has had a moment where life felt dark. Not just physically dark, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and a moment where you didn't know exactly where you were going, what you were doing, or why things were happening. You're smiling on the outside, but on the inside, you found yourself confused. You surrounded yourself with people, yet you still felt alone, and you're trying your best, but it still seems like the field is not enough. And in the midst of all these things happening, Jesus said something bold. I am the light of the world. Not I can help you find the light. Not I know where the light is. He said, I am the light. Darkness hits different when you're young. Being young is not easy like people have made it seem. You're always trying to figure out who you are, who your real friends are, what your future may look like, and what actually matters. And while you're figuring those things out, there's pressure everywhere. There's pressure to look a certain way, to act a certain way, to keep up with people on social media, and to fit in. And if we're being honest, sometimes we find ourselves chasing things that look good but aren't actually good for us. And that's exactly how darkness works. It doesn't always scare you, sometimes it's what attracts you most. Darkness for some may look like anxiety about the future, relationship drama, feeling like you have to be perfect or comparing yourself to people online. And the crazy part is that darkness doesn't always look dark. Sometimes it looks fun or popular or normal. And just because someone else or everyone else is doing it doesn't mean it's not dark. And slowly it'll start to affect how you think, how you act, and how you see yourself. Darkness doesn't always hit all at once, it creeps on you little by little. And you can find yourself crowded in a crowded room and still feel lost, and that's exactly what darkness does. It makes you feel stuck without direction. Jesus isn't just light, he's direction. Imagine trying to walk around a room with no lights on. You're bumping into things, tripping, and moving with caution because you don't want to fall. That's exactly what life feels like without Jesus. He helps you see who you really are, what actually matters, right from wrong, and he shows you your value. You are not only what people say about you, and he shows you your purpose, that you are here for a reason, and your path, and that not everyone is meant to come with you. Sometimes we get mad when God says no, but his no is actually protection. Light not only makes things visible, it protects you from what you couldn't see before. Some of us are making decisions in the dark and wondering why life feels so messy. You can't walk straight if you can't see straight, and Jesus is always saying to you, if you follow me, I'll show you the way. Following Jesus isn't a vibe, it's a choice. A lot of people like the idea of Jesus, like to post the quotes about Jesus, but don't actually follow him. Following Jesus isn't just posting a Bible verse every day or saying, I'm going to church on Sunday. It's not just saying, I believe in God. It's also how you live when no one's watching. Following Jesus means doing what's right, even when it's hard, standing out, even if you feel like you can't fit in, and trusting him when life doesn't make sense. And yeah, it's not always easy. Because sometimes the crowd is going to go one way and Jesus is going to say, come this way. Following him might make you look different, but different doesn't always mean it's wrong. It means you're just set apart because you're alone. That doesn't mean that you're wrong. Following Jesus might cost you certain friendship, certain bad habits, and certain environments, but what you gain is way greater. Following Jesus will allow you to have peace, clarity, and confidence in who you are. You have to understand that you have to stop living for approval and start living with purpose. You don't have to stay in the dark. Some people feel like they've gone too far, like I messed up too much or I kept making the same mistakes and I don't think God wants me, but Jesus will tell you that you fix yourself and come to me. He said, follow me. That means you can come with your mistakes. You can come to the Lord with your confusion, and you can come exactly as you are. His light isn't weak. It is so strong it can reach you no matter how far you may feel, and no matter how dark it may feel, his light is stronger. So the real question for me to ask you guys today, are you walking in darkness or are you following the light? Because you can't do both. At some point you have to decide, am I going to keep doing things this way or am I going to follow Jesus? And I want you to know that Jesus is already calling you and all you have to do is follow. And wasn't that just beautiful? From an early age on, I've been afraid of the dark. Whether it was the dark room where I had to lay myself to sleep, a dark hallway on the way to the restroom, or the darkness I had when I closed my eyes before bed. I don't know whether it was the dark abyss that put the fear into my heart or simply not knowing what lurked in the dark shadows. My grandma used to make me repeat a verse whenever I found myself in a sense of fear. You know, the one that's like, the Lord is my shepherd. Or maybe the one that says, the Lord has not given me a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. Little me took this simply and simply restated exactly what my nana said. But as I become older, I've been able to pick apart said verse and apply it to my personal life. To say the Lord is my light is an understatement. Each time I feel myself drifting from the Lord, I feel a sense of unknowingness, a lack of direction, and a sense of fear. As someone who struggles with severe mental health battles, there has come with plenty of doubt. I found myself asking the Lord how. How could He allow these trials and tribulations to take place in my life? Or how could He be the light of my life yet watch this darkness surround me? I say watch and not allow, because in no way did the Lord ever permit darkness to cover me, even if it felt like darkness had a blanket over my life. And until I read my friend Amira excerpt, and until I listened to my mother's advice, I hadn't found an answer. When Pastor Trey asked me to apply what my friend had written to my life and what it meant to me if I felt called to do so, I had to do some thinking. What exactly did it mean for the Lord to be the light in my life? A past version of me saw it as if God had stepped back and watched me struggle. While a present version of me standing before you today, realizing that the Lord has overseen my struggles while equipping me slowly to overcome them. He didn't allow these negative things to occur in my life for the sake of it, but to prepare me for something greater. To prepare me to be able to overcome what was ahead to reach something greater. We find ourselves giving gratitude to the Lord only when life goes right. I say when life goes right, implying you know what it feels like for life to go wrong. Maybe your wrong was losing that job you allowed to provide for your family or breaking off that relationship you saw yourself in forever. Maybe it was that financial setback that had you praying for God to make a way. Or in my case, what it felt like sitting on the bathroom floor wondering how much longer you had to feel like this. Or watching my mom face adversity and asking God why He dealt her these cards and how she could possibly win what felt like an impossible game. I'm able to look at my darkest moments today with a sense of gratitude. Yes, gratitude. The same moments I cried myself to sleep wishing God would take me from what felt like hell on earth was the same moments that the Lord handed me a beacon of light and told me I had no choice but to keep going. Opting out wasn't an option, and I had to keep walking in the path that He set for me. The path that I've continuously tried to manipulate, manifest, figure out, or even speed up. I can say that the Lord is my light because I've experienced the darkest of moments in which it seemed I had fallen too far for the sun to reach. And I want, if anyone is listening to today, wondering how things could ever possibly lighten up, whether it be a stressor in your life, a reoccurring thought that keeps nagging at you, or that chemical imbalance in your head that tells you aren't good enough or you can't do it, allow God to be your light. And I understand it's easier said than done. Welcome His lantern of light with open arms, even if it seems like He's your last hope. Because I can say confidently that even at my darkest moments, I knew that the Lord was my one and only hope, even if I didn't understand it. So, like my nana said, the Lord has not given you a spirit of fear. And like my friend said, some of us are making decisions in the dark when all we have to do is allow God's light to make the answer visible. My mom will tell you that sometimes we have to go through things to hear God's voice. And my brother will say at the end of the day is going to end and the sun is going to shine tomorrow. So allow God to be the light in your life, however that may be. And remember that God's redirection is a form of protection and His light is not no other. So I want to say happy Easter to everyone, and I hope you are able to take anything that I said with you today, and may the Lord guide and be with you in all the days to come. Thank you.